Assalamu alaikum, Miss Fatma is speaking. Let's discuss second part of chapter 12, which is about daily lesson plan. Yes. Here, the table of content. The daily plan usually begins with the table of content that includes learning objectives, new language, resources, prerequisites, warming up, presentation, summative evaluation, homework, and rounding up. Okay, if I ask you what is the difference between short-term plan and long-term plan? Again, what is the difference between short-term plan and long-term plan? Of course, short-term plan is the daily lesson preparation, which the language teachers prepares before going into the classroom. So this plan should be short, indicative, which means telling the teacher what to do, and real, reflects what the teacher really does during the lesson. But long-term plan is thinking about general course objectives. So this plan is usually prepared before the teacher starts teaching their classes. Yes. Here we have, firstly, learning objectives. Yes. Here, as you see here, this is the framework of a lesson plan. Daily lesson plan. If I ask you what is meant by learning objectives here? Learning objectives. What is meant by learning objectives or behavioral objectives? Yes. Behavioral objectives means that learning is being defined as a change in the learner's observable behavior. The writing of behavioral objectives must be observable, measurable, and timeable. So, objectives, they are what we want to achieve in our lesson because they tell us why we are teaching. Whatever you do in your lesson plan should be related to your objectives. Yes. So the expected outcomes in students' behaviors after having a certain experience, they have to be smart. What's meant by smart here? Smart means specific. Behavior objectives or learning objectives must be specific, timing, realistic, achievable, measurable. Yes, these are the characteristics of behavioral or learning objectives. Yes. Here we have also, new language. New language, it is the new language to be taught. It includes new vocabulary, new structures, new functions. What are new functions? What do new functions mean here? Yes. Language function is a special activity or purpose of the language, through which the learner can express, okay, his or her feelings, needs, okay, etc. For example, expressing agreement, expressing opinions, narrating past events, and etc. And we have here, okay, resources. Yes, okay, resources, okay, are the teaching aids, the individual materials the teacher is going to use, okay, to facilitate, okay, their job and achieve their objectives. The time the teacher decides to use certain aids, he should try the material before using it in the classroom. Choose easy done, safe, cheap, and clear materials. Use the ideal visual material for purpose, not as time fillers. Okay, decide when and how to use the teaching aid. So there are variety of these materials. The teacher should be clever in choosing the appropriate materials that facilitates, not hinders, the teaching learning process. Teachers can use pictures, reala, flashcards, drawing, video films, handouts, miming, acting, gestures, etc. Yes. Here, okay, and have prerequisite. Okay, okay, what is a prerequisite? Yes, okay, it is the previous experience that relates to the objectives the teacher is going to achieve. Okay, prerequisite is, okay, previous words or structures that pave the way for the new lesson. So the teacher should be very careful in choosing the appropriate prerequisite materials. Here we have some advices for using, okay, a prerequisite. Okay, it's important to know that each activity should have its own prerequisite, especially if it includes a new language. The teacher should employ different techniques to present this phase, okay, which means variety is required. The teacher should revise active words and structure and never revise everything. Yes, here, okay, if I ask you what is revision? So what is revision? Yes, revision, okay, revision, it is done for two purposes, okay. What is the main purpose of making revision, for example? Revision will help students to remember things they have taken before. Okay, here teachers must focus on language term memory, and this is very important. So teachers may revise something related to the current lesson, and this is called a prerequisite, okay, for the new lesson request. Yes. And here we have warming up. Yes. Here, okay, what is a warming up? Okay, warming up is the phase that aims at tuning students' ears to the English lesson to create a friendly atmosphere between the teacher and the students. So, warming up can be defined as a switch on of the English mood and a switch off of the Arabic mood. Okay, also it is a transition period where teachers try to melt the ice and build familiarity. Okay, so, okay, warming up, okay, the warming up aims to tune learners into the new activity. Okay, it is something around the task, not directly related to the task. Okay, its language, okay, should be easy and social, okay, and of social type. So teachers can achieve it by using games, puzzles, telling jokes, singing a song, and so on. Yes. Here, okay, okay, if I ask you why, okay, or the benefits of, okay, warming up. Yes, warming up plays an important role in breaking ice. Okay, it motivates students to participate. Also, okay, warming up creates a pleasant atmosphere to acquire language and helps engaging the students' feelings and minds. Okay, how can teachers, okay, do, okay, warming or make warming up? Yes, different techniques can be used to warm students up in this phase. Okay, for example, here, okay, just, okay, variety is required. So the teacher should vary between using jokes, riddles that can motivate students towards positive participation in the new lesson. Here we have also presentation. Yes, okay, presentation, it is the process of presenting the new language, such as vocabulary, structure, functions, using different techniques that help students to acquire language. So, this process includes revising related language items, presenting the new language using different techniques, mechanical practice for drilling the new language, controlled practice where the teacher controls the student's performance through certain prepared activities, okay, using student book, workbook activities. Free practice where the teacher guides the student's performance through certain prompts. Yes, and here we have summative evaluation. If I ask you what are the types of evaluation, okay, before discussing that, okay, just, okay, what are types of evaluation? Yes, of course, here we have, okay, okay, types, okay, of evaluation. What are the types, okay, of evaluation? Yes, here we have formative evaluation, okay, types of evaluation here, okay, just, okay, okay, we have formative evaluation, okay, and we have, okay, eliminative, okay, evaluation, and we have the third type is summative, okay, evaluation. Here, okay, if I ask you what is the difference, okay, between these types of evaluation? Here we have formative evaluation, eliminative evaluation, and summative evaluation. Yes, here, okay, of course, okay, in general, evaluation is a global view of achievement, okay, of the teaching and learning process over a period of time. For example, analysis of the success or failure of a teaching approach, course book, pupils' responses, etc. Okay, here, we have formative evaluation. Yes, okay, this evaluation is made while learning program is taking place. Okay, enabling decisions to be made on the basis of the results. For example, the teacher can ask, or just to do this, type of evaluation, you can ask like these questions. Are teachers or students having difficulties with any aspect, of the course? Is the methodology of teachers are using appropriate? Has enough time been spent on particular objective? You can ask, should the workloads be increased or decreased? And here, in eliminative evaluation, here eliminative evaluation takes place during the year, during the course. So evaluation which seeks to provide a deeper understanding of teaching and learning process that occurs in the program. For example, you can ask these questions, what and try to evaluate and assess what type of error correction strategies do teachers use? How do students understand the teacher's attention during the lesson? How do students carry out group work tasks? Do all students participate equally in them? But here, the third type of evaluation is summative evaluation. This type of evaluation takes place after a course of study. For example, was the amount of time spent on each unit sufficient? Did the materials work well? What did the students learn? How well was the course received by the teachers or students? So here, summative, evaluation. Yes, it is an overall evaluation process. The teacher uses summative evaluation at the end of the period to make sure that the students have acquired the new language presented throughout the lesson. If I ask you, how should it is advisable to use authentic summative evaluation to give our students the opportunity to use a new language for real personal purposes in a communicative way. Yes, and here we have homework. What is homework? Again, what is homework? Homework is considered an integrated part of the lesson to reinforce the learned language and to increase the students' time of practicing the new learned language. How should homework be? Or what are the characteristics of the homework activity? Yes, the characteristics, of the homework activity here, for example, just homework should be demonstrated in advance. Homework should be easy, authentic, short, and within students' ability. It should stimulate students towards research, and homework should reinforce the learned language. And we have rounding up. What is rounding up? Of course. Rounding up is a conclusion phase that summarize the lesson. It's essential to help students organize their thoughts and what they have learned. So, the teacher should vary his techniques for rounding up his lesson, from listing and extracting the meaning of the learned vocabulary, drilling the words, summarizing the reading passage, to singing the words, matching the words with pictures, or stimulating students to use the new structure to express themselves. Okay. Yes. Here, okay, what are lesson aims? What are lesson aims? Yes. Lesson aims, okay, are statements which describe what learners will know or be able to do at the end of the lesson. Okay, lesson aims are focusing on what learners will learn rather than what teachers will teach. So, a lesson aim is a statement of what students ought to be able to do as a consequence of instruction. And learning objectives or behavioral objectives should be defined with action verbs to describe knowledge, skills, and values that students should acquire. Yes, so here, lesson aims, are what we want to achieve in our lessons because they tell us why we are teaching. Whatever you do in your lesson plan should be related to your objectives. Yes, here, why setting lesson aims is important. Okay, yes. Lesson aims are so important because they provide a purpose and direction for teaching and learning. They enable teachers to focus on what their learners need to achieve. They provide a framework for the lesson. Also, they help teachers to select appropriate materials and activities. They help teachers to anticipate possible problems and build in solutions. Yeah. Here, non-functional verbs. Here, the following, verbs can't be measured. They should be avoided when writing objectives. Why? Because they are not they are not dynamic. They can't measure. They can't be measured. For example, here, will be able to memorize, to understand, to show interest, and to know, have knowledge of. These are these verbs can't be measured. So, it's very necessary to avoid, use them while you are writing the objectives. Yes. And here we have Bloom taxonomy classification. The level of taxonomy, definition of these levels, and the student does. The type of verbs that can the teachers use while they are writing the behavioral or learning objectives for each level. Here, knowledge means recall information. So the appropriate verbs that the teacher can use in this level: define, fill in gaps, identify, match, list. Students are expected to be able to define, fill in gaps, identify, match, list, locate, memorize, etc. In the comprehension level, which means show understanding. Here, okay, the appropriate, okay, action verbs, okay, that the teacher can use, paraphrase, describe, explain, put in order, retell in own words, interpret, rewrite, summarize, etc. And in the application level, which means, okay, use learning in a new situation, the teacher can use activities, includes these, okay, verbs, okay, action verbs, apply, include, contact, principle, illustrate, state, a rule of, etc. In the analysis, okay, level, which means show that parts and relationship can be seen, the teacher can use, okay, these action verbs such as analyze, categorize, classify, compare, contrast, diagram, differentiate, etc. In the synthesis level, which means take parts of information to create an original whole, okay, the appropriate action verbs, okay, in this level, such as compare, combine, construct, formulate, originate, etc. And the last level, which is evaluation, okay, which means make a judgment based on criteria, the appropriate action verbs that the teacher can use here, okay, such as evaluate, define, judge, give opinion, justify, rank, rate, etc. Yes. Here, okay, we have some learning objectives for listening, speaking, and writing skills. Here, okay, learning objectives for listening skills such as show interest in what is said, okay, anticipate and predict the speaker's message and meaning, follow the sequence of ideas expressed by identifying the speakers, create visual image, draw conclusions based on evidence, okay, in presentation, identify ideas expressed as true or false, real or imaginary. Yes, and here we have some learning objectives, okay, for speaking skills. For example, use talk to explore ideas and understanding, to express feelings, ideas, and opinions. Use talk to share ideas and information in one-to-one, small group, large group discussions. Speak to describe person or place. Speak to narrate incident from experience, etc. Yes, and here we have some learning objectives for writing skills. For example, record understanding by creating pictures. Use the vocabulary of, for example, shapes, colors, etc. to describe, for example, flowers, etc. Explain the meaning of the words. Okay, be retell in his or her own words, okay, etc. And some learning objectives for here, okay, reading comprehension lessons. Reading comprehension can be classified into 4 levels, okay, which are yes, the literal level and interpretive level, the critical level, and the creative level. Let's, okay, see some objectives for each level here, okay. In the literal level, for example, identify the direct ideas from the reading text. Identify numbers, names, places, or times in the reading text. Locate specific information in the reading text, etc. Here, okay, in the interpretive level, for example, interpret the meaning of words and concepts. Use the context to help guess the meaning of unfamiliar words. Select the topic sentence of a paragraph, etc. Okay, and in the critical level, for example, yes, judge things. Okay, do you think that, for example, is suitable? Why or why not? Determine whether the ideas are true or false according to guided standards. Decide that the statement is fact or opinion, etc. And in the creative level, for example, draw a new titles for the text, reformulation of ideas in a new way, derive the meaning from the language, discuss why he or she thinks certain events happen. Thank you, with my best wishes.